My name is Greg Franson. I currently am running a sweat lodge at Waukegan. We do it every Sunday. Start the grandfathers at 12 o'clock. Go in usually around 3 o'clock. The purpose for me doing that is to give back. I got sober like 18, 19 months ago. In doing so, I, thought that I needed to do some things to give back to the community that, I have lived in. To tell a little bit of my story, I grew up in a family where my dad, obviously I'm not full-blooded, my dad was white, my mom was half native, so I'm a quarter. And I was never taught to be native. I was never told that I could be native. My dad was prejudiced. He didn't like native people. So therefore it was a hard situation to deal with. I knew what I was because my grandfather had told me a long time ago, just be who you are. That was my mother's father, which was full-blooded native. And he told me, just make sure you know who you are and where you come from. And he taught me things back then when I was younger, and I didn't pick them up, or we don't. As little kids, I think we don't listen to what the situations are. We just deal with them the way we feel. We'll listen to you, but we really ain't listening, or we'll do what you say to do, but we really don't care to do them. And it's kind of a sad situation because it took many years later for me to realize that this is what I was really put on this Mother Earth to do, is to do ceremonies, do things. Now, I am no medicine man. I am just a common being, just like anybody else. But people ask me from time to time to do pipe ceremonies and different things, and that's part of being the keeper or carrier of that pipe, is that, you should do it in a good way, and if somebody asks you and they ask you in the right way, you should do it. Growing up in the streets and doing the things that I did, I knew I had taken from a lot of people. Whether it be selling them drugs or robbing them or beating them up or whatever it may be. And I think that's, the Creator came into my life, brought me back into a situation to where my life could come and I could become a better person than I was. I never liked doing the things that I did. I did them because I felt I had to do them. Try to go with your religion, do what you can do, because the gang lives and the things that people claim to say that they're doing the right things, they've never got me anywhere. I've been to the penitentiary 4 times for numerous of things, mostly assaults, driving away from the police, things like that. And it just, realistically, gang life gives you 2 opportunities: to die or be in prison. There's nothing else that it really can do for you. It's never been, I wasn't the type of person that was a follower. I was more of a leader type person that people looked up to and did what I told them to do. And even then, I was more of a hands-on type of leader. I wouldn't send somebody to do something that I wouldn't do myself. But where did it get me? I'm lucky to be 50 years old today and still be living. So many people throughout the years have passed away either because of gang activity, drugs, alcohol, and things like that in my life that, I've got maybe 4 friends that I still are around. Uh, some of them are in jail. And if it wasn't for jail, they'd probably be dead too. Uh, they just had a big indictment in the Twin Cities in the area on the Native Ma people, and that's not who I was with. But, what do them brothers have to look forward to now? They're getting 40 years. They will be 70 years old when they get out of prison. Their kids will be grown, married, and their grandkids and, their great-grandkids might be around, if they even make it out of prison. Gang life is just nothing that people should do. Try to get an education, get out there and get a job. Selling drugs will only lead you to doing drugs. When you look back at it, what we do at the Waukegan Sweat Lodge, which is actually from my understanding, I think it's the only one in Minneapolis that is open to the community. The reason why we opened this to the community and have done this is because, unfortunately, there's a lot of Native brothers and sisters that are out there that don't know anything about their culture. And it's a sad situation because, nowadays, here in 2014, you're looking at people that are Native Americans and calling themselves, and I'll say it, the N-word. But what they're saying is they're calling each other niggers, and they're more worried about rap stars and what rap people can do rather than worrying about the elders and what they can do for others. My definition of a warrior is not somebody that stands up and fights. Anybody, any one of us, any person, human being can actually fight. Now, whether they win or lose, that's neither here nor there. It's the person that, to me, an Ogichi-dog is the person that can do for others, a person that can give rather than take, and give without wanting something in return. I don't get paid to do the Sweat Lodge. I go there every week. Last winter was one of the snowiest winters that we had, and I was there every week below zero. I think we missed 3 times last winter doing a Sweat Lodge, and it's an important part of people's lives once you've done it and once you know about it. There's a lot of people that are scared of it, but it's like when you come out of your mother's womb, you're at the beginning of life. You don't have the bad thoughts, the bad things. Unfortunately, society has taught us that money is the most important thing. I had a lot of money when I was selling drugs. It never did me any good. I wasn't happy. I don't have a lot of money now, but I'm the happiest person I've been in my life. I'd rather be poor, being able to make sure that I got a place to live, something to eat, and whatever I need to do, I just don't think that that's the right way to go. Money's never done anything for anybody. When you look at our community, people that are getting checks, that are getting per caps and things like that, they are not living good lives, unfortunately. And I'm not saying all of them are not, but majority of them are not living a good life. They're getting high. All of their money is going to some drug dealer or something. And it's a sad situation when you think about it. I look at one of the things that I am in the process of trying to do is to get a place, a halfway house, or some sort of thing that is native based, uh, to where brothers that get out of prison and get out in places like that have a place to go. Unfortunately, we're stuck on a little reservation. If we have to go back to the reservation, if you're from the res, you get stuck on a little reservation and you go right back to the same thing. How can you expect to ever change if you continue to go to the same place? You have the same friends. There's many people. I have tried, like I said, I'm 50 years old. I have tried several times to quit using drugs and things like that. It wasn't until I started doing our religious ways that it was able to work for me. Because I went back to the same people, the same thing. I mean, if all my friends are getting high and I want to be sober, how can I be around them and be friends? It's a sad situation. But that's what the government has put us through. They have told us that we have to live on a little reservation and be around all the same people and do the same thing every day. It's unfortunate the things that the government wants us to do. It's kind of like when you're in prison, you have to be a part of a gang, pretty much. If you're not, then other people come up to you and will want to do things to you or whatever. There used to be a time when Native Americans ran the prisons and nobody would ever mess with them. Now, because of the quote-unquote gang life, the separate gangs that are within our community, it's made it to where we don't run prisons anymore up in Minnesota. And the administration loves it. They love the fact that we are no longer united and become as one. When I was there and whenever I was chief or co-chief in the penitentiary or prison area, I made sure that everybody that came through them doors knew that we are all one. We are not in this set or with that set. Your friends will be your friends, but at the end of the day, if your enemy is there and he's native and somebody else has a problem with them, we have to become one. And that has stopped, and the administration was part to do with that stopping. They wanted to separate us. They would put certain people in certain units. If you have a lot of this particular gang in this unit, what are they going to do? They're going to sit and they're going to talk and say things about the other people, and you're letting that person run it or this person run it, and they're not doing this right and they're not doing that right. When all reality, if we just became one, we would be strong again. But that's another thing that's getting worked on at this time. Some other people that I know are going up to the prisons and trying to get this whole situation dealt with. Because until we stand together, we are nothing. You know, when we're fighting amongst each other, what a better way for everybody to look at us. They would rather see us be enemies with one another than to become one. Because once we become one, we become a big unity. We become a lot, and they can't deal with a lot. They can deal with a few, but they can't deal with a lot.